Welcome to the Speak Pact podcast, where high-performing speakers and the producers who hire them merge to give you the insider secrets to the lucrative speaking industry. Antoniette Rose, your podcast host and celebrated speaker agent, unveils insider success strategies. Discover a nexus of thought leaders and bookers, maximizing your potential in each and every episode. Your ticket to ultimate speaking success begins right here. Catch the transformative insights waiting for you on the Speak Pact podcast, hosted by the industry powerhouse herself, Antoniette Rose.
Welcome back to Speak Pact. Thrilled you're here with us today, and I know that you are going to get a lot out of this session. I have award-winning TV host, Marci Hopkins. She is the host of Wake Up with Marci, and she has been in the industry for quite a while. She's going to share a lot of insider insights with us. She is a creator, an executive producer, an author, a motivational speaker, a media trainer. Wow. She's the driving force behind, again, Wake Up with Marci. It's a 3-time Telly Award winner. She is also a Silver Anthem Award winner. And she's had the International Impact Award. She has a lot to bring to the table, and I'm just really excited to dive into your journey. Marci, what started you on this journey, by the way?
Oh my goodness, I had some real life changes. I've always worked in media, but I was behind the scenes. I worked for the networks, Fox Cable Group, and I worked in operations, programming, and on-air promotion. So I had a wide array of experience in the industry. And then I decided to get in front of the camera in my 40s, actually. And yeah, so I just, went on the other side of it, and I got my training and moved forward in that area. But it was about 9 years ago that I made a huge life transformation. And through this transformation, I knew that I was guided to do something to help others, because my life was getting to a place that was so magical through all I was doing. And so I knew I wanted to create a platform to help others. And that's when I launched Wake Up with Marci 7 years ago. And it's about telling transformational stories, giving hope to others, the viewer, and also education, resource, and tools and insights as to how we can live a better life. And then I was guided to write my book, to continue on the platform of helping others. So I really just honed in and utilized all of my experience to create the platform that I have created today.
Well, and that's how I found you. I'm always searching for new material, always searching for ways that I can grow and I can expand. And hearing other people's stories is so powerful, especially when it's a transformative story where it's just, look, all hope was lost, right? And they were resilient, they persevered, and then look at where they are now. And you just have a really neat, relatable model that I don't know how anybody could walk away from even one of your shows and not have something that they can carry with them.
Thank you.
So thank you for creating such an important work. So tell me a little bit about when you stepped into this and you decided, this is my theme. These are the kinds of people I want to interview. Let's say you've got, which I'm sure you do all the time, right? Let's say you've got 10 relevant people coming to you. Like, they all have stories that could be relevant for your show. How do you just determine yes from no in their approach, right? Or what is it that you look for? It's like, this person has a story, but they also have A, B, and C about them. And so I do want to feature them.
Yeah. Well, first of all, again, the story has to be a real transformational story. And in some way, they're making a difference for others. They will be of service. So when my audience watches the show, they will get something from it. And if it's something that touches their lives and it can help them to transform and move forward in their lives. It's also really important that they're established, that they have some sort of media training, even if it's, doing really well on social media, or they've gotten their story out there for quite some time. Because when it comes to television, if you don't have any media training and you don't have any experience, it's going to come across, and the interview is not going to resonate with the viewer. And that's so very vital. So I know there's a lot of people starting out, and I don't want to discourage you from doing that. Pitch your show or pitch your ideas to shows. But maybe you start on a little smaller. Maybe it's doing some things on social media to get comfortable. Maybe it's hiring someone that can help you to really get your message clear and what you want to say, and you're comfortable, so you're not humming and hawing, and because it's a very short amount of time that you generally have on TV. It could be 3 to 6 minutes, right? So you really want to make sure that you're getting your story and your message out there in a very clear, concise way. Also, podcasts are a really great way to get experience, because podcasts are longer. You can go in depth more. It can get you more comfortable with telling your story. And also, just like what you do in helping others with speaking in front of people, like maybe doing some community work and start sharing what you do in your community, so it can get you more comfortable. And really, again, you've got to get really clear on your message and your mission and your story, so it comes off in a way that you look like you know what you're talking about, and somebody that is watching is going to respect and learn from you.
Yeah, so important, Marci.
Hmm.
At what point in someone's journey do you feel like they're ready to share their story? Because I know you don't want to speak from open wounds, right? You want to speak
Yeah.
from healed scars. So, can you
Yeah.
speak into that a little bit?
Yeah. So I myself, October 4th will be my 9-year sober anniversary. So the first year of my healing journey, I had a lot of trauma from my past, from my youth, and I learned to cope with alcohol. And while I did have a pretty productive life, at the end of the road, everything was crumbling. So that first year of my healing, not a good time for me to be out there talking about my story, because one of the things that I have really learned is that we can get out there and give our stories, but you don't want to, and I used to do this, you don't want to share too much of the gory details, because then you just have people feeling sorry for you. And what you're really wanting to do is to get your message across, sharing personal stories, and maybe touching on, like, I was sexually abused. I had abandonment issues. My mom was an alcoholic. But I don't need to go into detail about that, right? And so then the message that I'm trying to put out there, I might tell a story to give you a little insight, but again, it's not the gory details, because you want to make sure that you're sharing a story that is going to touch someone, but that you're also helping them to learn something and feel like they can do it too, and not feel sorry for you.
So
And it's
well
do that
said.
when you have all those open wounds.
Yes, and you verbalized that so well, Marci. Have you been doing this for a while? But it is almost like a symphony, right? We're not telling the story so that somebody has to relive our pain. We're
Yeah,
telling the story so that people can see where we were
yeah,
and how we journeyed from that to where we are.
Hmm.
not for ourselves. It's not a vanity journey,
No.
right? It's so that
Mm.
we can inspire somebody who might be dealing with something pretty heavy in their own lives.
Yeah.
And gosh, if she could get through that, then
Hmm.
certainly I have some hope as well. So there's a
Yeah.
difference. And we've all been in front of those speakers that you're like, holy goodness, this is
Yeah.
painful. And
Yeah.
can somebody get that person a doctor, right?
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
last.
In the beginning of my speaking career, I would share a lot, and I would have people come up to me and they just want to hug me and they felt so bad for me. And that's not what I want, because I don't feel sorry for myself. I'm healed. I want to move past. And now I just want to help others and connect with people where they are.
Good point. Like
Mm.
once they feel sorry for you, your
Yeah,
ability to really help them get transformation diminishes.
it
Once you've
does.
put yourself as I'm a hero, I'm so great, your ability to really help them with transformation
Yeah.
diminishes. It's
Yes.
that you bring them down just enough to help
Yes.
them just feel the tinge and then you bring them back up. Like it's just this whole beautiful symphony and I've seen you do that just so well because you have varying people in varying places in their own journey and you as the host has to make sure that symphonic.
Yeah, you do, and I'm sure there's people out there that want to be hosts, and just some things to think about when you are a host. It's not about you. It's so important that you think about your audience, you know your audience, and you draw out of your guest what you want your audience to learn.
Yes.
And you need to guide your guest in that way. So if the guest should go off, you need to bring them back, right? And sometimes you have to cut them off, but
Yeah.
you can do that in just a little breath in the nicest way. Just and that's really a great point. But let's go back to this.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you are going on somebody's show or on somebody's stage, if it's an event, please don't go in cold. Get
Yeah.
familiar with who their audience is, what their personality is like, their style, and
Yeah.
the culture of what's being put forth, what their kind of end game is. Get really
Yeah.
familiar with all of that. Don't say I'm so fabulous, I'm just going to wing it, because it
And thank you
shows.
for saying that, because I will tell you, when somebody comes on my show or pitches me, or my content producer, if they're saying, "Oh, I'd love to be on your podcast," they know nothing about my show. So that shows me they've done no homework. They might know, because it has something to do with mental health. Maybe they know the messaging a little bit, but go to my website, take a look, find out a little bit about me, and also who you need to reach out to. Because in most circumstances, when it's a TV show, I will tell you the host is not booking their own show
Yeah.
unless it's in the very beginning. So go to the website, do your homework, just like you said.
Yes, love it. Love it. And
Yeah.
there is nothing worse. I'm sure you receive these all the time. I get pitched, "Hey, I'd like to come on leadership coach. I'd love to come and talk about leadership." It's like, have you even looked at my show?
Yeah.
My audience is all speakers, emerging voices getting out there, and
Right.
it's just like you just feel like you're cut and pasted.
You can't just throw the spaghetti out there and see where it sticks, right?
Yeah.
You need to be professional, do your homework, and then you're going to book a lot more.
And higher quality. Yeah, that's
Yes.
how you get on established shows, award-winning shows like yours. It's not going to be by accident that you, as a host and your booker, right, can see right through um,
Yes.
to who. You have a responsibility to your audience to choose the right people who are going to bring
Hmm.
them value, and when you don't
Yes.
take that lightly, right,
No.
that's just a responsibility that you've taken on. um,
Mm.
so yeah, if you're serious about speaking and getting your voice out there, then get serious about doing that extra homework because it makes all the difference. How can somebody beyond that, prepare for a really successful, intriguing, compelling interview with you? Like, they don't really know the questions that you're going to ask, other than kind of looking at some of your past episodes. What are some other things that
Right.
they could do to prepare?
Well, there is a process, right? So you pitch the show, and we provide a show rundown to you so you can fill in information. Who are you? Your bio, and I know you're familiar with this. You do this too, and provide some questions. But a lot of times, and that's great because we want to know who you are, what get a title of the segment, what it is you want to talk about, and with that, I will take in the information and I will create questions from the information you've sent. So you are right. They don't I don't necessarily share the questions all the time. What maybe will happen is if they are buying a segment and it is about a brand, I will go by a lot of the questions that they have. But let's say somebody books the show and they have provided this information with me. What is so important to do is write down the key things that you want to share within this interview, right? But you also have to listen. Listening is so important because if the host starts going in a certain direction, you need to go with her or him. But this is easy to do, really, if you think about it. It may sound like, oh my God, I'm going to be thrown off course. You might be thrown off a little bit, but you're the expert. It's going to be something in your wheelhouse, right? So the host has brought you on to not stump you or embarrass you in any way. It's to share the most important information of what you can provide. So I'll always say, you're the expert and you know your message, right? So you know your story. So just stick with that. Don't get overwhelmed and stuck in a script because then it's not going to come off well. And the other thing to prepare for, let me tell you, there's nothing worse than we provide the information of what you need to do when you get on a Zoom. How to position yourself in the box, where to look, the volume and the audio, the lighting, what's in the background. Also very, very important because if you come on and you're not prepared, we are now having to help you get ready, which puts us behind in our shooting schedule. And other people have their own schedules also. So it's important that we respect others and really read what is asked from the show. The other thing is getting your assets together. So I'm really throwing everything out there.
This is
I
great.
will I ask for, because every segment I do, I want to bring it to life. I want it to look the best that it can look. So I need you to provide relevant pictures. I need you to provide B-roll, video. When you watch TV and you watch interviews and you see it, they're always showing pictures. Maybe if we're talking about your childhood, get me something that we can go back and we can feel what was going on at that time and see you. So that's really, really important. And get on and practice, practice, practice. Make sure if you have 4 minutes that you're keeping your answers, very short and concise. Don't go off on little tangents, because if you think you're going to get information in there like, oh, well, I wanted to share this, right? That's going to get cut. It doesn't matter if you end up putting it in. We're going to cut it because we don't have the time for it. So those are quite a few things to think about.
Oh, such good things. And
Yeah.
I love the tangents part of it, right? And that comes back to what you said. Listen, what the
Yeah,
host is asking you or the show is preparing you for. Stick with that.
right.
I liken it to, let's say, you have to go on a judge's stand for whatever, and you're going to be asked questions. Do not stray too far from the actual question that was asked. Allow
Right.
the leader to lead. So really, really
Right.
great. For you, they might feel obvious because you're a pro, you've been in this for so long, but I see so many speakers who skip these foundational principles, and it
Hmm.
hurts. We all talk together, like we're all
Yeah.
interlinked as producers, as speaking industry professionals, right?
Right. Yeah.
And if you want to be referred and recommended for other great opportunities,
Yeah.
hit it out of the ballpark, no matter how small the opportunity may feel or seem, because you never
100%.
know where that's going to lead. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, it's really so true. Like, take every opportunity because there's going to be someone probably in the room or somebody that has put that event together. And if you were good, you made an impact, you're going to be recommended, just like you said.
Yes. So tell me a little bit about when it does come to Zoom versus in studio. What are some of the major nuances there
Right.
for people to prepare?
So, one of the things when you're on a Zoom, like I said, and we send this to you, making sure of your positioning, making sure your Wi-Fi is strong, making sure that you know where to look, making sure that you have your audio is strong, right? So I actually feel that I get good audio through my computer. I'm very fortunate with that, but not everyone does. And so a lot of times you can even use the earbuds, but make sure they're connected correctly through Zoom or through StreamYard or whatever platform is provided. You have to make sure that that is hooked up. Make sure that your background is pleasant and
Please.
that you don't have a bunch of stuff scattered all over or junk in the background because that's going to distract the viewer
Yeah.
and it's not going to look good. Also, the way you look and present yourself is really important also. Less is more, okay? Now, if you like big jewelry, let's just go with jewelry. If you like big jewelry, maybe wear one statement piece. You don't want to be wearing too much. You want to make sure that your hair is not I've had people come on with like a hair knot. And I'm like, I don't I think to myself, do you think this is a podcast? So again, maybe you haven't done the research. Like, this is on a broadcast television network. I'm sure, think about if you have hundreds of thousands of people that are going to see this, think about how you want to present yourself. And I really think that that's on anything. You got to make sure you look the part, you feel confident in the way that you look because that comes off in how your confidence in what you put out there. Now,
Yeah.
you go in studio. Sometimes in studio, like maybe that can be a little more nerve-wracking, you know? And because now you're going to be sitting down, you're in the studio, you're not going to have your notes. Like sometimes if you do Zoom or such, you can have your virtual notes right in front of you, which again, don't read from notes, please. Have a little bullet point that maybe keeps you on point if you need that. But I've had people read and you can tell. If you're getting on a big screen television, you're going to be able to see your eyes going back and forth, right? And it comes off because it's not genuine in what you're saying. But when you're in studio, again, you just want to practice, practice, practice. Write down what it is that's important to you. And I'll tell you from experience, sometimes You're not even going to talk about what you've prepared for, because now you're in a conversation with the host and it goes like a whole nother direction. So be aware that that may happen and just get lost in it. Because if you think about the cameras and you're letting that overwhelm you, you're not present. And that's what you need to be, is you need to be present. You need to take the cues from the host, right? You need to maybe see if the director, they can maybe be guiding you a little bit more. So they can tell you if you need to wrap it up, let's say, or, maybe you have a little hand gesture that the host is now saying, okay, if we're about to get out of time, I'm going to start, hitting my hand on my knee, or, and sometimes the energy can be a little stronger in studio. But I got to tell you, if you have bad nerves, I'm going to tell you a couple of little tricks.
Oh, good.
So go in the bathroom and jump up and down, because that is going to change that energy inside of you that's all nerves and it's all getting bound up inside of you, and it's going to help you move it, right? Kind of calm you down a little bit. Also, take a few minutes to do some breath work. Breathe in deeply, breathe out. Give yourself the affirmations. I am the expert. I am strong. I am capable. I am worthy. I'm going to kill it. Tell yourself these things, and that will also help you. And just another tip you can take from this is, don't necessarily go in the green room and worry about making friends and connections with everyone and get distracted by that. If you need some time to regroup, make sure that you're doing that. Get some earbuds. Listen to a 5-minute meditation. Read your notes. Okay? Take yourself into a place that you can get to the calmest place you can get. And remember, those nerves don't have to be a bad thing. Just turn it into some more of an excitement instead of being scared.
Ooh, those were good. That is a good list. We create what we call speaker smart sheets off of each episode, and your list will go in there. Of course, we always credit you and link back to you for that. But that was a really important list. I hope that our audience was taking notes. I'm sure they were. And that jump up and down to change the energy.
Yeah.
Tony Robbins does that. He actually has a little rebounder right before he gets on stage that he jumps on before going out there. And it really is different. You think you might feel fine. You think you might be energetic. But once you jump, you're just all the more, right? Your energy is just really shifted. So I love that you brought that up. Breath work, you can do that in the midst of a bunch of people. You can be doing breath work.
Yeah, absolutely.
And your advice
you can't leave the green room. Just, go into your own world, put those earbuds in and just go into your own world for a few minutes.
That's a nice thing about hair. I can hide the earbuds and just smile and nod, but I'm really in my own world.
Yeah, exactly.
Meditative music and breathing. So important to get centered and focused on what you're going to bring to that audience. It's a privilege. Doesn't matter how big or how seemingly small the opportunity might be, whether it's a podcast, being on somebody's remote event, or being on a full-fledged show like yours, televised. Treat it all the same. The hair bun thing just made me laugh, because I don't know why people think because it's going to be a remote, I don't have to get out of my pajamas, right? It's like, treat them
She had her hair in a bun, and granted, she had come off of a long shift. But then, like, now she's seeing I'm all dressed. Like, oh God, maybe I'm not. Maybe I should have taken a few minutes to go in the bathroom, brush my hair, and put a little lipstick on. You don't have to look glamorous, but just presentable.
Yes. If you're going to dress up, I read this book a long, long, long time. I was a young single mom trying to find all the answers to to write to life. And it
Yeah.
was an old folk remedies book. But one of the things that the lady said that I just has stuck with me all these years is if you're going to get dressed up to go to the grocery store, get dressed up for the people closest to you in your life. Like put a little lipstick on. You're there at home. Yeah, but why would you value the people in a grocery store who you may never see again more
Yeah.
than those people who see you on a daily basis? So be who you're going to
Everybody
be.
does it. Do it for yourself. You feel better.
Yes,
You
exactly.
really do. You're more motivated, 100%.
And you present better. Your ideas, the way the concepts that you bring forth are going to
Mhm.
be elevated because you've elevated yourself energetically. When we look good, when we
Yeah.
look put together, we just act put together. So I love that you brought all of these in. That affirmations, self-talk,
Yeah.
huge,
Yeah.
right? Especially if you're going on to a show that might seem a little bit beyond your reach, like you're so excited you've been invited to this thing.
Yeah.
You don't want to be a fangirl or fanboy or seem like that at all. So self affirmations.
Yeah. And
I'm
don't,
brought
I'm
here because I
sorry.
have
I'm
value.
sorry.
Yeah. You go for it. Go for it.
No, it's just, if you think about it, if you just go, oh my God, I'm so scared. Oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed. Oh my God, I don't know how can you be your best? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Speak to that a little bit more. The affirmations.
Yes. So I have found before, before I started all of this, I just want you all to know I used to be petrified. I was director of on-air promotions for FX Network at Fox, and I couldn't even talk in a conference room, okay, when I had a meeting. I used to tell myself I was stupid all the time. I was
Ah,
constantly questioning myself. How do I do any of this? Everybody must think I'm just so stupid. I used to say this stuff to myself all the time. I
mm,
when I part of part of the reason like my drinking elevated so much is because I started using that as liquid courage. I was so nervous to go for an audition. So it wasn't until I started healing what was up inside of here that I was able to gain the confidence and find the love for myself that I was so deserving of. So by that, uh, how do we get there, right? And that is so much about how we speak to ourselves, about ourselves, and about our lives. If you're waking up every day and saying, woe is me, how is anything supposed to move forward? How are you supposed to build on a more successful, happy life? So just think about the things that you're saying to yourself. If you say, let's just say, I am weak. I am so weak. You say, I am strong, right? I have absolutely, I'm so stupid. I can't do anything right. I am so smart and I'm going to kill it. Just change what you're saying. And it may take a while to believe those things. I believe very much in writing them down, putting them in places where you're reminded of them. Write them down in a journal and do this like 3 times a day. And in the beginning, it may not feel comfortable. It may not feel right. You're like, wait a minute, I don't really believe that about myself. But the more and more you're doing it, you are retraining the way that you think and the things that you say. And the other thing behind that is being grateful in life.
mm,
Gratitude is a winner. So you're talking about a smaller stage, let's say, or a smaller uh, uh, podcast. Maybe it's a new podcast. Somebody's got 200 listeners, right? And you're like, it's not that important. Yes, it is. And it's practice for you. and be grateful for that opportunity, because if you are grateful, you put your all in, you're going to have something better come along, and just keep on with that. And being grateful, saying the right, saying good things about yourself, having a morning routine, educating yourself, evolving every day, feeling good about yourself. You have to evolve each day. Do something for yourself, something that makes you happy, something that you learn. These are things that really build on your confidence and make you stronger in these areas.
Foundational. These gems are so vital and foundational for some reason,
Yeah.
because they're so simple. A
Hmm.
lot of times we don't do that. We let ourselves spiral into that self-doubt,
Yeah,
self-talk. Your brain
absolutely.
believes you.
Yeah,
What you tell it, it's going to believe you and help you move in that direction. It's just
absolutely.
how we're made.
Hmm.
So I love what you said. Like, let's say you do have the jitters.
Yeah,
Hey, I'm feeling a little bit nervous,
yeah,
but I know that the host called me here because I have value. And I'm
yes,
confident in my value. I'm confident in the value that I bring others. Like, then your body's like, yeah, you do have value.
yeah,
And yes, you are confident. Remember that time you did the thing that you didn't think you could do and you did it well? Right. Then everything starts working in that direction
yeah,
to push you to that elevated level. The last thing you want is for the audience to perceive you as lacking confidence, lacking self love, because how could they love you
mhm,
or trust you if
yeah,
you don't? How can they champion you if you're
yeah.
not even championing yourself and believe that those concepts that you're bringing forth is going to work for them?
And it comes
Right.
through.
So it does.
Hmm.
And and even just the way you sit and stand, right? Stand tall, own your space.
Hmm.
What drives me crazy, Marcy, I don't know if this drives you crazy, but when I'm talking to somebody and they're like a moving target, they're like
Oh, yeah,
rocking it. This is a self-centered thing. They don't even realize they're doing. They're self-comforting.
yeah,
And it basically is speaking, you're not confident. Whatever you tell me, I don't know if I can fully embrace, because you're not sure if you're embracing it. Like, own your ground, because
yeah.
that's how you're going to help other people in a stronger way.
Yeah, and if you're on TV and you're doing that, no one's listening to you. They're like, why is that woman going back and forth? That's all they're thinking. It's human nature.
Yeah. So be aware, because you may not even realize you're fiddling, or I do have a tendency, because I have a lot of hair, to mess with it. I try to consciously tell myself, it might be tickling my nose right now, but don't
Right.
do anything. Don't do
But keep
anything.
in mind, let's say an IG live, or maybe you're going on live by yourself, right? You're not interviewing someone, you're going on. I see people all the time. They're like this, like this, like this. I'm just like, oh my gosh, please stop. Please stop, because that's all I am focusing on. I have no idea what you're saying.
So true. Okay, by this time, there are quite a few people in the Speak Pact audience that want to know, how do they find you? Where do they get in touch? I know that finding you're all over as far as your information, so you can share some of that. But how are the ways that you like to connect with people most?
Well, if you go to wakeupwithmarci.com, everything is there. And if you sign up for the email list, put in your email. I send you a free gift. And that gift is building on confidence, building on self love. So I give you bullet points and information and education on how to do that. So you can start building that foundation like you were talking about.
Oh, love that.
So that's a great place. You could see where to see the show. I offer also like where I'm speaking or programs I offer, and please, I mean, I'd like to offer, anyone that's watching, if you need media training, like I have something that I put together for in studio versus a Zoom. I'd love to offer to your audience for $50. I mean, like
Wow.
it's so important to have this training, and that's for anything, anything. to know this. And like you had said before, when you make an impact, a positive impact, you will be invited back 100%.
Yes. Yeah, and media training, I think even the ones of us who have been out there quite a bit, there's always something you've missed. So
Mhm.
I would definitely welcome being trained by Marci. So it's Wake Up with Marci with an I,
Yes.
MARCI.com. Check her
Mhm.
out, get that free gift, get some media training from her because she's proven the process and won awards for it. So my goodness, $50? Yes, let's do that. All
Yeah.
right. So you know that I've got my signature question as we start to close.
Mhm.
What is one piece of advice you would give Marci when she first started on this journey that would have really helped you maybe move through the process a little bit quicker, find yourself a little bit more quickly, your voice? What's just something you would have said to yourself when you were very first starting out on this journey?
Mm. Watch out, girl. You're going to make
You're
it.
gonna make it. See, there's that self-talk going on.
um, no, what would I have told myself? I, it's very important that you surround yourself with people that trust in your mission and that want to help you. And it's also important that you ask for the help and know that
Mm,
you don't have to do it all alone, because that is something that I did for a long time. Uh, and that was just because a lot of my upbringing, I'd always done it on my own. I'd always been a survivor on my own. It was very hard for me to ask for help. Um, just recognize your strengths and the things that you're not great at, and bring in those that are strong in those areas. And that's the way you're going to create the success.
ah, Fabulous advice. And I 1,000,000% agree with that. Thank you for being on this journey, this pact to impact the world with the power of your voice. You are doing an amazing job in that. And I just am thrilled that you are here to help our listeners on their journey as they're doing the same. Thank you for being with us, Marci.
Thank you so much for having me. It means a lot. I'm so glad you found me.
I'm so glad I found you too. Listen to Wake Up with Marci. All right. And for everybody else, ciao, ciao for now.
Thank you for listening to the Speak Pact podcast. To become a recommended speaker of Antoniette's WPC speaker agency, or you are a host or planner looking for a dynamic expert in optimized performance, Antoniette would like to personally meet with you. Secure a time with her at speakerbooker.com. Again, that is speakerbooker.com. It all begins with a vision, a voice, and a pact to impact. Join the Speak Pact movement by joining our new private Facebook group at the link in our show notes. Find us on nearly every social media platform at One Antoniette. That's number 1, ANTONIETTE, or simply #SpeakPact.